In today's climate, nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights today. Shoot better. Stay safer. Crimson Trace.
Today on Gun Talk, Tom is broadcasting live from the 29th Annual Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago, Illinois. GRPC features speakers from the Second Amendment Foundation, dozens of national and state gun rights groups, attorneys, journalists, and more, all discussing the latest challenges and advancements in gun rights. And now, live from Chicago, here's Tom.
We are here. We're in the belly of the beast. Welcome again to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here. Yes, we are in Chicago. And people say, well, why'd you go there? Well, we have to go here. We just have to rub it in as much as we can. I mean, come on. We won Chicago. We had the McDonald case. We had the Ezell case. We have concealed carry in Illinois. It's amazing. I had a show of hands yesterday at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. How many people here have their carry permits? I was stunned. Probably half, more than half. I mean, it was just amazing. Lots and lots of people getting, I think they said the number was 80,000 applications so far. Tons of people getting their carry permits in Illinois. Just a really great gathering. We did have the issue of, on Friday, we're staying right next to the hotel, right next to the airport, the hotel is, and all of a sudden there are no airplanes flying. And of course you had the FAA issue with the air traffic control facility, a fire there, and nothing's flying. And what that meant was that a number of the people coming to the Gun Rights Policy Conference here couldn't get in. So we're doing some real scrambling and had to do some swapping out. Some of the speakers couldn't get in. Most unfortunate, because I was very much looking forward to meeting her, Shanine Allen could not make it in. So that did not happen, but we'll get together with her at some point. Did meet a whole bunch of people I had not known before and get to see a lot of old faces around here. This is where the gun rights groups go. This is where our world goes to recharge their batteries, to get some ideas, to share thoughts, to say, okay, well, this is what we're doing over here in California. What are you guys doing in New York? So we heard from New York. We heard from California. Actually, some good news from various places. Now, obviously, they've been under assault in some of those, but just a lot of fascinating info on what's going on, what kind of challenges, what kind of successes we're having. Georgia Carry was here with their great law that they got passed there. So just a lot of very cool things. I would throw this out to you. If there's any way for you to make it, if you have an interest in gun rights at all, try to get to the Gun Rights Policy Conference next year. And you can look on the Second Amendment website, Second Amendment Foundation's website, saf.org, for information on the Gun Rights Policy Conference. We have a great lineup of people here. We're going to have, we have trainers, activists from different people. We're going to have Alan Gottlieb, Dave Workman, Masad Ayub, Gene Hoffman. Frank Fiamingo is going to give us the latest out of New Jersey. Doug Ritter is going to be here from Knife Rights. Chris Bird, of course, a great trainer and author out of Texas. And we're also going to have a guest appearance from a star of one of the great gun rights cases, and that'll be coming up in just a few minutes. Tell you what, settle back. I'm at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. It's going to be a great 3 hours. You take care. I'm not going to be taking calls right now, so just settle in and listen. Call your friends, call your neighbors, tell them to turn on the radio. There's a guy talking about guns, but he doesn't hate guns, and he actually sometimes possibly might actually know which end of a gun goes where. So that's what it's all about. We're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. We'll be right back.
In November, a few races for U.S. Senate could determine whether more anti-gun laws are in our future and whether your rights will be infringed. Will be infringed. Don't risk your rights. The future of gun rights is in your hands. Be a gun voter. #GunVote. For more information, visit gunvote.org. Gunvote.org.
There's a rise in home invasions in America, and you need to be ready. Ready to protect yourself and your family. The bedside backup from Crossbreed Holsters keeps your gun at your bedside, ready to go. It also folds flat for easy storage and travel. Take it with you and use with any hotel bed. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com. The bedside backup is not a child safety device.
Long-range shooting is challenging and fun, but most precision rifle bullets aren't right for hunting. Nosler's AccuBond LR long-range bullets are designed specifically for hunters. They combine the incredible on-game performance AccuBond bullets have delivered around the world with incredible long-range properties. High ballistic coefficients make for bullets which shoot flat and defy the winds. The sleekest, flattest shooting, bonded hunting bullet ever designed. Nosler's AccuBond LR. For more info, visit nosler.com.
The new Walther PPX offers a smooth trigger, ambidextrous magazine release, 3 integral safeties, rugged construction, and the famous Walther ergonomic grip. All this at a great price. Right now, get a free magazine, holster, and dual mag pouch when you purchase a PPX. Feel the perfect fit of the Walther PPX at your local gun dealer or go to waltherarms.com for more information. That's waltherarms.com.
In today's climate, you always need to be ready. Nothing will make you a more accurate or confident shooter than Crimson Trace laser sighting systems. Get the immediate, decisive advantage of the world's only grip-integrated laser sights. Shoot better. Stay safer. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge.
Tom is broadcasting live from the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago, Illinois. Now, once again, Tom Gresham.
Man, are we having fun here? Let me tell you, we have been talking about gun rights, but of course you might imagine that we also talk about a lot of other things, about guns, of which kind of guns you're having, and a lot of the folks in Illinois are trying to figure out, okay, what gun do I get? Because they have to get their training, they got their carry permit, how do I carry, all of that. And one of the places I always send them is to Chris Bird's books. Chris Bird is joining us right now, the author of the Concealed Handgun Manual, which is truly a great book. I don't care where you live, if you're interested in concealed carry, I tell people they got to have your book, Chris.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Tom.
Well, it's I know a labor of love for you, but at the same time, it is a really valuable resource. And you're running into the same thing here that we always run into. You got a whole new crop of people who are discovering concealed carry, and they're wondering, what do I do with this? Yeah,
concealed carry has been one of the success stories, I think, of in the last couple of decades. I mean, it's grown across the country like a wildfire, and the last domino to fall was Illinois.
Right here
we are.
Yeah, exactly.
But with the Concealed Handgun Manual now in its 6th edition,
wow,
gets fatter every time I revise it, and I try to answer all the questions somebody would have who was considering carrying concealed.
You know, of course, I always say, what gun should I buy? Well, it's not as simple as that.
Right.
Start with that. Okay, to that question, then you start asking a series of questions to go with that. And then it's how do I carry? Then we get into holsters and belts, and then where can I carry? Where should I carry? What do I do if? And what do I do if may be the biggest question.
Right. There's a problem, I guess, with mainly with what happens after. If I have to shoot somebody,
right.
Nobody much thinks about that.
Right.
That topic.
Exactly right. Rhonda, go ahead and put that headset on if you would, please. So tell me about your newest book, the Thank God I Had a Gun. It's got a new edition now?
Right. It's a 2nd edition, and it's got 17 stories in it of ordinary people, many of them women, who use guns to defend themselves,
right.
Or others, including their own children. And it's been endorsed by Rick Perry, mainly because of the first story where a guy
the
was...
coyote?
No.
Oh, it's not Perry and the coyote. He actually used his gun.
Yeah, he did. He did, yeah. But this one's because Vic Stacy, a guy near Brownwood, Texas, Central Texas, used a gun and probably saved the life of at least one police officer. And so Rick Perry, in his office in the Capitol, presented the guy with a LaRue Tactical 308, which some people, I'm sure, would call an assault rifle. We prefer to call it a patrol rifle.
That's right, or a modern sporting rifle you prefer.
Right,
but
right.
Well, good for him. And, of course, we have success stories every single day of good people using guns to save lives, don't we?
Right, we do. And I've taken what I try and do with those stories is go into more detail, usually after the court case or whatever is finished, and get a lot of information about the thing so I can tell the story, and then I usually have a section for reflections. What could the guy have done differently or better? And I talk to them and ask them that question.
Absolutely. Can they buy the books directly from you?
Yes, they can.
How do they do that?
They call my toll-free number, which is 888-700-4333.
All right, 888-700-4333. Is there a website?
Privateerpublications.com.
Okay, privateerpublications.com. And obviously they could order it from other places, Amazon and places like that.
Yes, they can. Yeah, okay. Any bookstore can order it if they don't have it in stock.
So what are you working on now? You got anything new book in the works?
Well, yes, I'm researching a book on how civilians can cope with what the police call an active shooter. And that includes teachers. Teachers are civilians.
As what happened this week in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Where we had not an active shooter, but a guy with a knife killed a lady, cut off her head, was working on another woman, and...
Fortunately, there was a reserve police
who happened
deputy,
to be the CEO
yes,
of the company.
Who shot him.
Now, do you know the details? They say he used a rifle. I'm assuming he ran out to the car and got his patrol rifle and came back in. Do you know any details?
No, I don't have any details of that yet. Yeah.
But a rifle's always a good answer.
Yeah. In fact, the concealed handgun manual was mentioned on both sides of the Heller case that went before the Supreme Court. The Violence Policy Center grabbed onto the bit where I said that a handgun was the least effective firearm to defend yourself with. A rifle and a shotgun are much better.
Certainly, but generally speaking, most of us are not going to carry around a rifle or a shotgun.
That's right. Exactly. You're going to have the handgun.
All right, Chris. Well, look, thank you so much. Congrats on the great success on the books, man. You're knocking them out of the park.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Tom.
Absolutely. I tell you what, at this point, we're going to transition because we just had, and we're going to let Chris go, and we are bringing in somebody I didn't know we were going to be able to get, and frankly, I'm just delighted Rhonda Ezell joins us right now. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am great. Now, let me explain to people. You are the Ezell in Ezell v. Chicago, this great case that came after the McDonald case where Chicago said, okay, you beat us down. We can't ban handguns. We're going to require you to have training. Thanks, Chris. But we're at the same time, we're going to ban shooting ranges, right?
Correct.
So how did you get involved in this thing?
I actually got involved in this right after the McDonald decision.
Okay.
I wanted to go ahead and comply with the law and register my firearm.
Okay.
And as it would be, register for the course, ended up a 2-day course, and the firing range was separate.
Ah, so you could take the course, but you had to go to a shooting range somewhere.
Correct.
And they don't allow it in Chicago.
Correct. Now, Chicago, they mandate the training, but yet prohibit it at the same time.
Well, that's the Chicago way, isn't it? I mean, they've been playing politics hardball for a long time, and they said, okay, you beat us on this one, but we're actually going to make it quite literally impossible to get what you need here. They said, well, of course, you could always get in a car and drive 50 miles away to get your training. And the court said, nah, I don't think that's going to fly, guys. So how long did this take, this whole process for you?
The process from beginning to end, it's still ongoing.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Really? What's going on?
Well, actually, the case was won in 2011. We filed in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
We got it in 2011. But right now, we're fighting restrictions as well.
Sure. They're just going to put as many roadblocks in it as they possibly can. You, of course, had at least two really good attorneys, Alan Gura and David Siegel. Pretty good guys there.
Yes, Alan Gura, he's amazing, extraordinary. David as well is the best. They're the best.
They are. I tell people, I said, you just don't understand how scary smart these guys are.
Exactly.
It's almost like everybody else is playing checkers, and these guys are playing three-dimensional chess.
Exactly.
They're looking so far ahead. It's crazy what they do. And on top of that, they actually are really likable, nice guys.
They really are.
You know. So, did you get your carry permit?
Yes, I did. I did receive my concealed carry license here in Illinois.
Okay. You and a whole lot of other people. So, I will ask you the question, and you have to answer this the way you want to, because I tell people, look, if somebody says, do you carry, it's up to you whether or not you answer that. So the question is, do you carry?
I will ask someone, do you carry?
You bet I do.
Exactly.
I bet you know I do. And I know you do too.
Yes.
That's great. So what's it been like for you? I mean, you kind of became this, you're the personality, you're the face, you're the name on the case. Do people know? Do they associate you with that? Do the people you know that you were involved in this?
Well, the local people that I know, they know of me. They're not in the industry.
Right.
I get most of the popularity within the gun industry.
The gun world, yeah.
And that's normal.
Sure.
But when you talk about the people you may have went to school with or grown up with, they look at you like, you're crazy.
Really?
And I say, I'm trying to save your life. But they just don't get it. They don't understand.
All right, question for you. You grew up with them. You all had the same experiences. How did you get to where you are when they are where they are when it comes to looking at this thing and saying, this is how you save your life?
Well, I have a son. I also have a granddaughter now. Mm-hmm. And as a woman, it is always your job to protect your child. And I've always sworn to the death of that is what I will do. So I was always about protecting myself and my family.
Yeah, but a lot of women say, I'll protect my child, I'll do anything, but they won't go the other step, which is, how am I going to do that? So you had to either look at it objectively, or something happened where you said, you know what, a cell phone isn't enough. How'd you get to here?
Well, I've always had a FOID card.
You have?
For a very long time, when I was 21 years old.
For those not in Illinois, Firearms Owner Identification Card. So you have to have the card. So you had a FOID card. Did you have a gun?
I did.
Okay, so you've been a gun owner for a long time.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Another one of those double standards. Because if they distribute you a FOID card, as a legal, lawful individual, you'll go to the store and you will purchase a firearm of your choice.
Okay, so you made the decision fairly early on at a young age to take care of yourself.
Yes, I did.
Interesting. You understand what I'm saying is that there are people who you all grow up together in the same, basically the same cultural environment, the same stimulus, the same everything, and then you split and you got this group of people that says, you're crazy, like you're talking about, and they got you who are looking at it and going, essentially, you guys have not looked at this very objectively. Do you look at everything objectively like this? Is this kind of your personality?
That's my personality. I go above and beyond. I'm a thinker. I go way beyond the norm. And the separation is with your friends is they may chose another route. Mm-hmm. They're not concerned about the safety portion. Maybe it's because a lot of people may have already ruined their future as far as a clear record or background or something to that effect. So I really can't say what it was.
Right.
But I've always been interested in firearms.
That's so interesting. Because I've always thought, for some of us, we grew up, our parents or dad, took us out hunting and we grew up with guns. But somebody getting interested in guns as an adult is a different path, generally speaking. So, I mean, I'm not even going to ask you what you carry. I'll do that off the air. So that's because we could talk guns, unless you want to tell me what you carry. What do you carry?
Of course I will. I carry a Glock 19.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
You like it?
I love it.
How often do you get to shoot?
I don't go very often.
See, right, that's the right answer. Not enough.
Exactly. Until we finally get a range.
Yes, working on that. I should tell people that I got a little bit involved in your case because one of the problems was the court was basically going to say, well, there's no range in Chicago, so you don't have standing. No one has gotten damaged by this. So they're saying, we're going to prohibit ranges, but because there's no range, you don't have standing. So I got a phone call from Alan and crew, and they said, we need a range in Chicago. I said, we could make that happen. And we made a bunch of phone calls, and we found one of these mobile ranges on wheels, and like in 3 days, we had it sitting in a parking lot in Chicago, an operating shooting range, which was now illegal. Mm-hmm. Now we had standing.
Okay.
And because everybody said, well, you can't like build a range. I said, you watch us, see what we can do here. So, you know, as I say, it may take a village. In our case, it takes a whole bunch of us working together on this stuff.
As long as we stick together, it can happen.
So where do you go from here with you're not just a woman that has a gun and protects herself and her family. You're now a gun rights activist.
Correct.
So what happens for Rhonda now? What are you going to do?
Rhonda wants to take this further, as far as I can, stay in it, wake the people up who's sleeping on this.
Okay.
We have a constitutional right to protect ourselves just as well as we do to vote. A lot of people don't exercise their rights.
Absolutely.
And I want to give them our opportunity to know that it's okay.
Well, you clearly have a lot of courage to do this. You got perseverance, and you got some guts and grits, and I love it. You also are just one of the happiest people I know. You're just fun to hang out with, I got to tell you.
Thanks to the new kidney.
There you go. You got the new kidney, new lease on life, and you're looking good.
Exactly.
All righty. Thank you so much, Rhonda. It's Rhonda Ezell. That's the Ezell versus Chicago case. Big case, very important case. Hey, don't go far. When we come back, we're going to be talking to some more folks right here at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. We are in Chicago at the GRPC, Gun Rights Policy Conference. It's where, well, really the entire gun rights world comes to get together, to conspire, to talk about how we can win.
Have you taken your family, friends, and kids shooting lately?
You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and we'll be right back. Want to be a guest on the show? Drop us a line at info@guntalk.com. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
Oh, man, we're having fun. We're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. Did a little talk this morning, and we're doing a thing on how to be a better caller to radio shows and how to be a better guest. The two guys who are with me right now don't really need any help because they've been doing this a lot. Doug Ritter from Knife Rights, Frank Fiamingo from New Jersey Second Amendment Society. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Our pleasure. I thought maybe I was coming on to show the wrong way to do things.
Well,
I think I've got that nailed.
No, you gotten, and I told you earlier, so you gotten a lot better. When we started doing this, 5 years ago or so?
Yep, it's been 5 years.
Holy cow, Knife Rights. And just a stunning string of victories. I mean, you've had victories in places that people said, why are you wasting your time? You will never get anywhere with this.
It's been incredible. One of the things that's a little different between our fight for freedom and the firearms community's fight for freedom is it's a lot less emotional. So
less emotional.
So when we go into a state and start talking about repealing bans on switchblades or lengths of blades and stuff,
right,
and we start talking to legislators, they listen, even the ones on the other side of the aisle.
Why is that?
I think because because everyone owns knives. Everyone owns knives.
Okay, sure.
And it's easier to portray a knife as a tool,
as a working tool or something, whatever,
than it is for a firearm, which those on the other side can't view it as a tool.
They don't
see it as a weapon.
They don't see it as useful in any form, firearm.
Yeah.
But a knife, they get that.
Yeah. And if you look at our victories, they have all been by pretty overwhelming majorities, which means we got everyone but the folks on the far left.
Okay.
And in a few cases, unanimous. It's an education process.
All right. Describe what you have gotten. So, preemption is one thing.
Preemption is the foundation, and we're taking a note right from the firearms community's book. With preemption, we get rid of all the local restrictions that are more restrictive than state law, and that ensures that when we fix state law, that those local communities can't make it worse. So that's really the foundation. Now, sometimes we get preemption first, sometimes we get preemption second, sometimes we're able to get it all in one bill. But the idea is get rid of all the bans, all the restrictions on knives, and then pass preemption so that the state is covered.
Right, so little
universal.
cities, and you know, as we've talked about before, and Frank, you know this, when you got states that don't have preemption, when you go from a town to town to town, it's a different law, and you have no way of knowing.
It's a patchwork of laws that are designed to trap the unwary.
Well, it's strange in New Jersey because it is regulated by the state, and it's supposed to be uniform. Unfortunately, they allow the municipalities to interpret it pretty much as they wish. Now, that's not universally known. It just happens because the different police chiefs in the rural areas, they will issue you a firearms identification card within a couple of weeks, and in the urban areas, you may be 6 months, a year waiting.
Sure, just all depends on where you are and, frankly, who you know.
That's absolutely correct.
Which is not the way it's supposed to be.
Not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah, and if you would, Doug, just touch on that for a second, because a lot of people still don't get that knives fall into the area of rights.
Well, let's look at the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment doesn't say firearms.
Doesn't say anything about it.
The Second Amendment says arms. And in fact, there was recently a legal paper that came out on knives in the Second Amendment by David Koppel and some others, who went through the history and why knives are, in fact, arms under the Second Amendment. I like to tell people that knives are a tool that are used every day by millions of Americans at work, at home, recreationally, and every once in a while someone uses them as an arm to protect themselves or their family.
Sure.
It is their use as an arm
that qualifies them.
That qualifies them and allows us to use the Second Amendment to defend the right to carry that tool.
And I would offer this. I have found I don't know all the knife laws. And I try to pay attention to them. And other people, I'm sure, have not a clue. And it's like, I'm carrying a pocket knife now. It's like people say, well, do you carry a knife? It's only when I'm wearing pants. I mean, if I've got on pants, I got a knife. All right? Chances are, in somewhere I have been, this knife is illegal, whether it's for blade length or whatever. First of all, how do you know?
We have a solution.
Yes.
It's called the Legal Blade app, which we just published in June.
Really?
It has the knife laws of all 50 states, as well as so far a little over 40 cities, and we're adding more every month. It's $1.99, available at the Apple Store and
Android.
And Android. And it has all the laws. It has the interpretations of the law through court decisions, and every type of knife that you can think of. There's red, green, yellow. And if it's yellow, there's an explanation. It was quite a effort to get that all together. The firearms community has had that for years. It's a much larger community, much more well established.
Right.
There was no place to go.
Right.
And now there is.
It's $1.99, and I mean, people need to understand that in some of these places, if you get charged with having this, it can be a very serious charge, depending on where you are.
Look at New York City. I mean, we have our federal lawsuit going against them, but in the meantime, every time someone gets arrested for carrying a common pocket knife, they're going to spend somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 just to get that dismissed. If they're lucky.
If they're lucky, yeah.
God forbid that they have any sort of criminal record from 50 years ago.
Right.
And then it suddenly, they can spend $20,000 or $30,000 because it's potentially a year in jail.
Just for carrying a pocket knife.
Doug, if I may, can I just interject? I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned when you were speaking to the legislatures, you had overwhelmingly good response. But you mentioned that they see it as a tool. Do they see it as arms? Do they get that?
It's interesting. Usually we go into the legislature, with the exception of a few states, with the support of what you might call the normal Second Amendment supporters. Okay, they get it. All right. How you talk to the individual legislators, whether they're on the right, in the middle, on the left, the message you bring varies by the legislator.
Sure. Yeah, so you have to tailor the message.
Yeah, we don't talk to the folks on the left about them as arms. We talk to them as tools.
I see.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to tailor your message for your audience.
Hold that thought, guys. We'll take a quick break here. We'll come back. We're talking with Doug Ritter from Knife Rights, Frank Fiamingo from the New Jersey Second Amendment Society with the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Springfield Armory presents the Gear Up promotion. Until October 31st, customers who purchase any new Springfield Armory pistol can sign up to receive 3 additional magazines and a free double bag pouch by visiting gearup.springfield-armory.com. That's a value of up to $135. XDs, XDMs, the XDS, and all 1911s. To learn about all the Springfield Armory firearms, go to springfield-armory.com.
What's that?
It's my Trijicon.
What's a Trijicon?
Only the best rifle scope in the world.
Says who?
How about the U.S. Marine Corps, Special Forces, Navy SEALs? You heard of these guys?
Sure.
Well, they're all using Trijicons.
Let me see it. Wow, this is really sharp.
And a lot of professional hunters are using Trijicon, too. You probably caught it on some TV and radio shows.
Yeah, I have heard some of them swear by their Trijicon.
I swear by it.
You know, I could have been a Navy SEAL.
Well, the closest you're going to get now is buying a Trijicon.
Hey.
Trijicon is the brand of rifle scopes that more and more hunters are swearing by. That's because every Trijicon is handcrafted using the finest optic materials. The bright aiming point can guarantee you a great hunt from dawn to dusk. Get your Trijicon at a dealer near you or visit them on the web at Trijicon.com. That's Trijicon.com. Trijicon. Brilliant aiming solutions.
Weather can affect your shot. Extreme cold, extreme hot, no matter what, Australian Outback Ammo has you covered. Ammunition loaded to shoot the same spot every time. And now Australian Outback offers 300 Blackout with loads from a 125 grain bullet to a 220 grain subsonic load. Check it out at outbackammo.com.au. outbackammo.com.au.
You're listening to Gun Talk on location at the 29th Annual GRPC in Chicago, Illinois. Now, with all the latest on this year's conference, once again, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you, Tom Gresham. We are at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Actually, just winding up or winding down, whichever. It was kind of they did a fabulous job here. We had a bunch of the speakers couldn't get in. They had a full agenda. It's been planned out for weeks, if not months. And Friday night, they're scrambling, and they're on the phones, and literally they had speakers coming here, trains, planes, and automobiles. They were doing everything they could to get here. Unfortunately, Shaneen Allen could not get here, which I was really not happy about that one. But, if you can't get here, you can't get here. But we do have Frank Fiamingo with us to give us the update there. We're also talking with Doug Ritter from Knife Rights. Doug, we got to tell people how to get more information about Knife Rights and also the spectacular raffle that you do every year.
KnifeRights.org is our website. Everything's there, or you can sign up on Facebook at Facebook Knife Rights. The Ultimate Steel raffle will commence in March. This year we had $150,000 worth of prizes, and it's a winner's choice. So you get to choose your prize from all that left.
First winner gets first pick?
Yep.
Wow. And they're not just knives. There are guns there, and there are other things.
We had a safari to South Africa. We had Wilson Combat 1911 with Ollie North's signature on it.
Frank's writing all this down over here.
Really?
I want some of this.
And $90,000 worth of custom knives valued upwards of $6,000.
Crazy knives.
Wow.
Yeah. By the way, if somebody says, hey, I'm a knife maker, I want to get involved in this, I want to help out, you want them.
We want them.
Yeah.
We want everybody. It's amazing. There are certainly more knife owners than there are gun owners in the United States. But the problem is many of them don't recognize or don't realize that their rights are under attack as well.
Right.
So part of our job is just educating people to the challenge we face and getting them on board to help us.
I also just had a thought. There are people that have collector guns in their closets, and they're getting to a point where they're thinking, my kids don't want these. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Nobody appreciates them. Why not take one or two of them and donate them to Knife Rights for the raffle? And now you're doing good.
That's a really excellent idea.
That would be much appreciated. I have to tell you, our biggest fundraising location that we go to is the NRA annual meeting. That's where we get the largest number of donors and of people who had no idea.
Right. You hear that all day long. People say, I did not know that. I had no idea. I didn't know they were arresting people off the street. Because you walk through New York City, and like a lot of us do, you got a knife in your pocket, you got the clip sticking out. That is an arrest me sign right there.
Yep.
They will come up and grab you and arrest you.
We're talking thousands of individuals, if not tens of thousands of individuals in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It is. Well, and what were you just telling me about the show that had to move out of New York?
Yeah, the New York Custom Knife Show and the East Coast Custom Knife Show, which have been held in New York City for 30-odd years, had to move out and move to Jersey City, New Jersey.
That makes absolutely no sense.
You didn't know that you were the Free State.
which is not a city that is known for being friendly to the Second Amendment.
No, but we're real friendly to cuisine, and I don't know, knives, cuisine, maybe that's what it is.
Chef world there, exactly. So, in New Jersey, of course, what do you say it's where?
Where rights go to die.
Where rights go to die. Although you're working on that.
We are working on it very hard.
Yes, you are. Tell you what, guys, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to be talking with Frank. I want to get the latest update on Shaneen, what's going on there, and the fact that right now, Shaneen's case is opening the doors for a lot of people to get better treatment, and we may quite literally be able to use her case to get people out of jail. So that is a phenomenal thing. We'll have all that detail when we come back. We're at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. And like I say, you want to be here. I'm telling you, talk about pumping up your tires, doing the whole deal. It is just very cool. We'll be right back in just a minute with more gun talk.
You don't have to agree with Tom to participate in the show. Call now with any of your concerns about guns, gun rights, or particular firearms, or suggestions for your shooting activity or personal protection. 1-866-825-5486. Gun Talk is coming right back.
You know, this is why they call it live. We were going to go to Frank, and Frank got a call and had to run out the door, and he'll be back in just a few minutes, but that's okay because Doug Ritter and I, we said, well, we can yak. Yeah, well, we've been yakking for more than 10 years. I don't know, how long have we known each other? 10, 15 years at least.
I'm thinking closer to 20.
Yeah, but that would make us way too old. It cannot be 20 years, man.
Both got grandkids.
Yeah, there you go. And we met each other through aviation.
Yeah, we're both pilots. We met each other online, as a matter of fact.
That's right, online. So the old EVSIG, CompuServe group.
Yep.
That goes way back. We're talking about when we had those speedy 1200 baud modems.
Yeah.
And only the people with gray know what we're talking about now.
Unfortunately.
We're speaking in tongue. You know, it's all weird stuff. So, Knife Rights, you've done fabulous work. You still got the New York case is ongoing. Just for a second, explain to people just how expensive it is to do these cases. Because everybody says, well, why don't you sue these guys? Why don't you do this?
Litigation is definitely second place to legislation in terms of what you want to do to get things done. Litigation is ungodly expensive. Even when the attorneys are giving you an incredible break and basically donating a significant part of their efforts.
Right.
We will be out of pocket in New York before this case is done, somewhere to the tune of $500,000.
Yeah, and this is a small organization. This is
you're looking at.
Yeah, but it's basically you and your lovely wife
and our lobbyists. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is, and there's no $500,000 sitting around for this. We have support from the industry, but people need to understand that litigation is definitely not something you want to get into lightly. I mean, you need to understand what you're getting into. You need to understand how long it's going to take. Much longer than you think. It's going to cost much more by a factor of X times.
Yes.
And you're playing with your dollars on both sides because you're spending your money here and they're spending your money on the other side. They have unlimited money when you're suing a government.
And not only do they have unlimited money, but they can use that unlimited money to force you to spend much more than you should have to spend.
And they do. They say delay. Just keep throwing paper at you, so you're just spending money like crazy. Figure that maybe you'll just run out and go away.
And many people do.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to. We're not going anywhere. Nobody in the gun rights movement is going anywhere.
But they're used to other people going away.
Yeah.
But it does mean that it's just crazy expensive. So I just wanted people to understand what we're talking about here. It's really, and it's monstrously time consuming. You're doing the 70, 80 hour weeks all the time, routinely. That's just what you do.
You cannot do this job. I don't care which organization you're going.
Which are the right organizations?
Without passion.
Yes.
Because nobody would do this just because it's a job.
That's very well put, because there are easier jobs and there are certainly better paying jobs. You do this because you can't not do this.
It's fire burning in your belly.
Yeah.
That you can't stand the injustice.
There it is. Knife Rights. It's kniferights.org, right? Okay. You can find out everything that's going on, the successes, the things that are going on there. You can join. You can contribute. You can donate. You can, if you're a custom knife maker, offer a knife for the raffle. If you've got any guns that you could donate, it would be very much appreciated. I guarantee you they'll be used well. Doug, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Always my pleasure, Tom.
All right. Tell you what, when we come back, we're going to see if we can find Frank Fiamingo. We're going to rope him in. We're looking at Gene Hoffman, Alan Gottlieb, Dave Workman, Masad Ayub, and who knows who else is going to walk in the door, because they're all here at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Chicago. I'll be right back.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.